as you know, as Christians, the reason we're Christians is because we've placed our faith in Jesus. And when we receive Him, He receives us, and a union takes place. We come into union with Him. And Paul says in 2 Corinthians 5:17, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away, and everything's been made new. Speaking of the spiritual union that we have on the inside with Jesus. And what takes place when a Christian receives Jesus, when any person receives Jesus, he becomes a new creation in Christ. Something changes on the inside. And we might say it this way, that the Spirit of Christ now dwells on the inside. Something changes, something of Christ, something of heaven is deposited on the inside. And the process of the Christian life as we walk with the Lord is a process of, as we sang this morning, what's on the inside gradually showing up on the outside. And we're sometimes a little bit discouraged when it doesn't show up instantly and overnight. But that's just the reality of it. We grow in Christ. We grow in the knowledge of the Lord. Grow in grace and in the knowledge of the Lord, Peter said. And I can remember, frankly, I'll just tell you this, in my own life as a Christian, I spent my first Christian years as a Christian being discouraged because I didn't think I saw enough change take place, and I was so conscious of everything that wasn't exactly right, And I knew instinctively on the inside that I should be like Jesus. But you see, it took me a long time to get through the Scriptures and read. And I found one time in Romans chapter 8 where Paul told the Romans that we are predestined to be conformed to the image of Christ. You might say He's where we're headed. We're predestined by God to be conformed, all of us as Christians, to the image of Christ. But the process of getting there, that means that's where we're going to be. It reminded me of something this is what I wanted to share with you. Several years ago, you see, my wife loves to tinker in the yard. I guess that's probably not the best way to say it. That sounds a little... She loves to work in the flower beds and in the yard, and I always say this, that every year there's less to mow and there's more flowers. She claims more, and that's okay with me. I'd be glad if there's nothing to mow, frankly. Mowing the yard is not my favorite thing. But I remember very well, one day she came back from Walmart, and in the back of we had a van then, in the back of our van, she had gone to Walmart and she saw they had trees on sale. And so she had the boys, Elliot, Anton, and Phil, we had 3 at the time, and she let them pick out a tree because they were on sale. And when she pulled them out, I saw why they were on sale. Because they weren't much to look at as far as trees. They looked like, each one of these trees, it looked like a broom handle stuck in a burlap bag. It wasn't very exciting to look at. But on the tag, it said what they were. And Elliot, who's here today, picked out an apple tree. And I remember laughing to myself when I pulled that thing out of the back of the van, because on this stick, basically, with hardly any leaves, 1 or 2 leaves, just a barren pole, it had this tag, and it showed this beautiful apple tree with branches out here like that and apples hanging off of the tree. A beautiful apple tree on the tag, and then you look at the tag and you look at the thing, and there's what's wrong here? This does not resemble the picture that's on the tag. But I really, I didn't really have any choice in this thing. I mean, it was a done deal, and my job was to dig the hole. I wasn't in there. If I'd been with them, I probably would have said, "Look, we don't want these things. These will never make it. These trees. These don't even look like trees. They've pulled a fast one. They've stuck broom handles in a bag." But anyway, I dug the hole. We planted those trees and watered them. Did all the things that you do. And a year later, it didn't look much different. I'll be honest with you. It didn't look much different. No fruit at all. The year after that, no fruit at all. And it started to, I started to see a few little changes. I'll tell you what, it did not resemble that picture on the tag. We saved that tag, and I've got that at home somewhere. But, I don't know how many years went by, and we would see little changes, and it would grow, but it seemed like awful slow. But let me tell you something. I might not be the brightest yardsman. Is that the right word? Yard keeper. Horticulturalist. I might not be the brightest, but I'll tell you one thing. I knew that what I don't want to do is yank it up out of the ground once a week and threaten it and say, "You rotten thing, where's the fruit?" You're never going to produce anything. If I'd done that, sure, it would have died, But, I was bright enough to know what I need to do is nurture it, you see. Keep it planted, keep it nurtured, And if I see any, weeds, things don't belong there, pull those up. That was my as the one who planted it. That's what I took as my responsibility. The one who planted the tree, I wanted to see it produce and turn into what it was. What the picture on the tag, you see, is what it was predestined to be conformed to. The image. You see, what I'm saying to you is Jesus is like the picture on the tag, and you might look at your life and you might think it's like that tree that I'm describing. You might not see everything conforming exactly. But see, He has taken it upon Himself as the one who planted in you a good thing, a new creation in Christ. He takes it upon Himself to nurture you. And I do too, to nurture you and to water you. In fact, that's one of the main reasons we meet together, as often as we do, to be nurtured and to be watered and to water that good thing that's in you from heaven. Because if it's watered and it's nurtured, it will grow. It will grow and produce the life of Christ that's on the inside. And I'll tell you what, it'll also grow and it'll push out everything that's not conformed to the image of Christ. It'll push those things out. But anyway, what I started to say was, I don't know how many years. I quit counting. A period of years went by and I didn't see any fruit at all. And I remember one day seeing a single solitary apple on that tree, and it was just tiny, a little shriveled thing. And I was so excited. Look at that, the first apple. This tree has finally produced something. And I pulled it off and brought it here to church and showed everybody. It's back there. It's all shriveled up now like a little raisin, but it's back there sitting on my desk. But today, as we were driving by, I noticed that tree has so many apples hanging on it. It's you can't even hardly drive down the street because it's hanging over into the street. And I brought one to show you. This came off the tree. This is one that fell off onto the ground at April. So that's a good apple there on the ground. And this came off of that tree that looked like a broom handle when we planted it. But why it produced was because it had in it the life. It had in it the life that was necessary, or may I say the DNA, the tree DNA that would cause it eventually to produce the life that was on the inside. And when we became Christians, when we received Jesus, He planted, may I say, heavenly DNA on the inside of each one of us, if you understand what I'm saying. The life of Christ. And if we nurture it and give it a chance to grow, it will produce the life of Christ in each one of us. Until we'll be walking through life, one day and suddenly make a decision that we might not have made before and act like Jesus would have acted, I told you about how I felt like driving over my neighbor's trash cans when they were rolling around the alley, and I stopped myself and got out and picked up the trash. That's something Jesus would have done, you see. And but that was a process of the life of Christ growing in me. So I just wanted to show you that and use that for a little illustration this morning. No charge for that. That's all free.